They say that winter is the best time to visit Tibet because the sky is blue and clear.
That it's not actually that cold, but in reality you have to
cope with extremely cold weather conditions. And we actually can't get back to our city.
So the question is, should you go to Tibet in winter? Good morning everyone. Today we are heading to Everest Base Camp, the most exciting part of our trip. So what are we wearing today? Here is 4,000 meters and I believe it's -10 at the moment, and there is going to be around -20. So I'm wearing 2 pairs of tights, pants, and I think I'll wear socks and this warm patches. It's the best thing we bought here because I don't know if you've been to China. I think you know what's that. You just apply it to your clothes and then it warms up and you're warm. And Mark is wearing 2 pairs of trousers.
I'm wearing my thermals, my tracksuit bottoms, and these waterproof trousers I got, and my thermal and a jumper and a hoodie and that coat.
Yes, coat. Actually, I took this coat from Uniqlo and look at this. It's so small. Now I'll open it and it's gonna be when it's gonna be a little bit, it's gonna be nice and warm, I believe. We are now in the warm car, but there we are sleeping on 5,200 meters and it's gonna be -20 degrees. And I hope it won't be snowing because forecast is not as good as we expected. So, okay, see you on the road then.
Yeah! 5,200 meters, actually a bit higher, 5,260 meters above sea level.
That's mad.
It's actually higher than we're going to be at base camp. So.
Oh, cute. Too much sugar for him.
After a bumpy bus journey, we arrived at the entrance to the Mount Everest National Nature Reserve.
We've been lucky enough at the altitude, we haven't felt it too much, but there's a few oxygen tanks being brought out here. I think we're about 4,500 meters up, and we've been up high for quite a long time, so I think a few people are struggling on our bus. We just arrived here at this pass. Mount Everest is somewhere here, but it's too misty tonight, so we're going to go to a guest house and get up nice and early tomorrow, and hopefully the sun will come out and we can get a nice clear view. We'll be going a lot closer to base camp.
So we arrived at our guest house. It's not at the base camp, but I already struggle to speak without catching my breath. I think it's 4,500 and the room is really small, but they have an electric blanket, so I think it's going to be fine. And the main room is also very warm.
Yeah, and the base camp itself tonight is too cloudy, so that's why we didn't go there on the way. So we're going to get up nice and early, and hopefully we'll get blue skies in the morning, and if not, then we'll be very sad tomorrow. But
yeah, but actually,
we will.
Yeah, our tour guide actually was really nice about that because he said, "Oh, Mark, can you talk to others and say that maybe we'll miss some other attractions like monasteries and stuff, but we will see the Everest." And I said, "Yes, of course,
Yeah,
no problem."
We don't really care about monasteries anymore. Like, let's just see the mountain.
Yes, the mountain. So here we have sink, me, and a bathroom here for girls. So you can shower here because it's too cold, but yeah, just clean after yourself. Here is some ice, and for boys I believe it's the same. Yes. We've been told that we won't have good facilities here or good food, so maybe we should bring some snacks, but I'm really pleasantly surprised by it. It was really tasty, like these nice sauce and good meat, good vegetables, so yeah, really nice.
As you found an app online that monitored like cloud movement,
and it wasn't great. The following morning it would be cloudy above the Everest base camp. And
Yeah, so we went to bed, kind of disappointed to be honest, because we were pretty resigned to the fact that we weren't going to see a glimpse of Mount Everest, let alone be able to go to the base camp.
And then in the morning, we woke up around 7 o'clock, and I think David and Helen were up as well, and they said that we actually went out and seen the stars. And me and Mark got so excited, and we ran out, and it was absolutely amazing there. Stars were much closer, and that was really exciting. We were thinking, oh, maybe we can actually see Everest. Bedroom, doing something, and then I came back and went to the main room, and Mark told me that
You could see Mount Everest right outside the guest house.
Everyone's out taking pictures and super excited, so we're about to get on the bus to go see it up close, so couldn't be more excited. It's freezing though.
but you can't actually go there yourself. You have to go by the environmental bus, and there is another checkpoint when they will check your documents again, like the permit, and there is a special permit actually for Everest base camp itself, and we were waiting for their answer. So they called them and they said, okay, we need to check the road because it was snowing. All the mountains were in fresh snow, but there were not a lot of snow, just maybe like this, really not a lot. We were pretty excited. We were thinking, yeah, no problem. Like, how can it be a problem? Because there is a beautiful blue sky, this amount of snow, which won't be an issue
Easy
at
to
all.
clear.
Yes, for sure. And like you can drive on it, it's like not a lot. And so we were been waiting, and then just the news were not great.
So then unfortunately around maybe 10 or 10:30, after waiting for a couple of hours for news, the environmental bus company that takes you to Everest called the tour guide and said that there was no way that the bus could pass and that they weren't going to be able to clear the road for the tourists to go into the base camp, which, as you can imagine, kind of ripped the heart out of the room. Everybody kind of went a bit silent, and it was really sad. So we were kind of expecting there to be an effort made to clear the road, and maybe in the afternoon we could go, but I think that was the most disappointing thing about the whole thing. There wasn't much of an effort made for these 50 or 60 tourists waiting in the guest house to go.
The main issue was that we couldn't be staying there for too long. First of all, we didn't have any clothes with us. They told us don't take any luggage. We just had the clothes we had on us, which already more than for 24 hours. And then I asked the tour guide, so what's the story? How long can we stay there to wait to see if the situation can change? And he told me till 12 o'clock originally, which was because we have to drive back, and they're like driving back is like around 8 hours as well, and we can drive at night because it's going to be a little bit dangerous, especially because it was snowing a little bit. After they've seen us all disappointed and all thinking that that was such a waste of time, they decided, okay, let's wait a bit longer. They also hope that they will do something with the road, and actually what they can do with the road, clean it, scared if it's icy, put some salt, but if they are scared, it's not really good for the environment, put some sand, and there are, chains, all special wheels, tires, but nobody tried to do anything, and that was absolutely devastating. Because Everest, everyone knows it snows here, and I think just don't issue permits if you can deal with these kind of situations, because we spent 10 hours coming from Lhasa to Shigatse, then spent a long road to come here, and as a result they just gave us hope that we can go there by issuing the permits and letting us through, and as a result they just can't provide anything to us.
Then we got the news that the road back to Shigatse was actually closed as well, and this road is a windy road up the side of a mountain and then down the other side, so it was really treacherous. There was a period of a couple of hours that we didn't really know what we were doing. There was talks of staying an extra night, which wasn't really ideal. Once we realised and got over the fact that we weren't going to be able to go to Mount Everest Base Camp, we actually had a really positive experience, because you could walk towards Mount Everest outside the guest house, and I think the most frustrating thing was how beautiful the day was. It was clear skies, the sun was splitting the rocks, and there was just this little bit of snow on the road. So we actually walked towards Mount Everest, and we took some amazing pictures like this.
And because we were skipping a lot of things in our itinerary, the tour company decided to take us to the local house. received this phone call saying that the road to Shigatse is open now, and unfortunately, yeah,
Had to head back.
and there is no chance for us to see Mount Everest from the base camp. So this road back to Shigatse and like road to this guest house was mental. Like it was like this, and it was quite dangerous when we were going up without snow. And then, can you imagine? It was absolutely safe to travel back. Like it was, yes, it was slow, but nothing happened. And at one point, our bus driver decided to put something on the tires, but then he received a phone call saying no, the road is fine because another bus went faster. And it's just proved how ridiculous was the situation.
They allowed us to go on this road and not the other road, which didn't make any sense.
Here you can't just say, oh, we can go by the bus, can we go hiking? Like, no, you can't go because you have to go with your tour guide. There is another checkpoint. We've been told that winter is one of the best times to visit because there is beautiful blue sky and there is like just one day of rain over the whole month, but it can be snowing, and which is far worse. Even though it wasn't really snowing, it was just this amount of snow, which in country, I guess, which would be prepared for this amount of snow would be absolutely nothing.
Another reason that we didn't really think that winter was the best time to go was because in our itinerary we were told that we could stay in tents on Everest Base Camp.
Or guest house on the Everest Base Camp.
Yeah, but what they didn't tell us was that in the wintertime they close the tents and take them away because it's too cold, and that you actually have to stay in a guest house 30 kilometers from Mount Everest Base Camp, and then at one time you take the trip to base camp, look at the mountain, and then drive back to the guest house. Whereas we were kind of expecting to be camping at the base camp, which is what we were told in the itinerary, but unfortunately in the winter that's not the case.
However, we had an amazing experience at Tibet itself, and we just obviously got really unlucky with the weather at that day, and it was perfectly sunny the days before and the days after.
Yeah, we know we got very unlucky, but for us winter was definitely not the time to go.
So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, and leave a like and tell us about your experience. If you've ever been to the Everest Base Camp, were you more lucky? Was it cloudy or not? Okay, and subscribe to the channel not to miss out about our next video about 11-day tours, where we actually were really lucky to see the mountain Ninja Barwa, which was absolutely stunning, and our tour guide actually said that he'd never seen it before because it was too cloudy. If you go to the Everest Base Camp, we hope that you will have better experience and will have actually something to remember.